Hi everyone, Aviva Engel here again from Ulpan Aviva and here with another short video with fabulous content. Let's start. And today we are talking about the gender identity in Hebrew nouns, how to identify if a noun is masculine or feminine, what to do with all the odd ones out, and what to do about the verbs and adjectives relating to the odd nouns. So let's dive straight in. So in every language, we have pronouns, we have verbs, we have adjectives, we have adverbs, we have connecting words, we also have nouns. Nouns are a very integral part and important part of every language system. Hebrew nouns have a gender. If they're living nouns, that's quite obvious, yeled, yalda, yeladim, yeladot, but also inanimate nouns like a table or a chair or a cup. Everything has a gender, just like in French and in some other languages. English doesn't have it, which is why this is most difficult for English speakers. Now, as we know, if a noun has a gender, it could be either masculine or feminine, or it could be masculine plural, or it could be feminine plural, right? How do I know if a noun is masculine or feminine? So the rule of thumb is always judge a noun by its singular form. You'll see shortly why, but you judge a noun by its singular form. You decide its gender according to how it's said in singular. 80% of the time, not always, but 80% of the time, if it ends with a taf or with a kamatz hey, the ah sound, kamatz hey, it is feminine. All other endings are masculine. So let's look at a couple of examples. We have here a menorah. A menorah. Menorah ends with kamatz hey, and therefore it's feminine. We also have or, the light that the menorah produces. Well, or doesn't have a feminine ending, therefore it is masculine. We also have the chut, the cable connecting the menorah to the wall, chut. Even though it ends with a t sound, it's not the taf t, it's the tet t, which therefore is masculine. We have a sheka, a socket. Also the sheka, even though it ends with an ah sound, it's not kamatz hey like we have here. It's the ayin sound, which if you pronounce properly, it's sheka. It's a guttural sound, but that is masculine. We also have in our picture an atzitz, a pot plant, which is masculine. And our atzitz has an aleh. An aleh is a leaf. Again, notice it ends with a hey, but not a kamatz hey. It's got a different sound, therefore masculine. Fantastic. Let's look at another household item. We have an aron. Aron, a cupboard, masculine. No particular sign of femininity. In the aron, well, this aron actually doesn't have a delet. A delet is feminine. It ends with taf. A delet. Then we have the mot, the rail. Again, mot ends with a t, but it's a tet sound, therefore masculine. The cupboard also has a madaf, a shelf, also masculine. It has a megera, feminine, kamatz hey, megera. In the aron, we have a simla, a dress, also feminine. And we also have a chulza, feminine. Okay, so usually 80% of the time it follows the rule. Of course, there are exceptions, the 20% of the time. So let's look at a couple of groups of exceptions. For instance, all names of cities and countries are always feminine, no matter what ending they have. Israel, classic. Israel is a feminine word. Okay, Israel is a feminine word. And also the word eretz, ir and derech, country, city, and path or way, they are also feminine. So these are kind of all related. So even though they don't look like they're feminine, they are. Another group that could be identified is parts of the body that we have two of. They don't look feminine, but they are. So for example, yad is feminine because we have two of them. Regel is feminine, ayin is feminine, ozen is feminine, as opposed to pe, which we only have one of, which is masculine, af, which is we only have one of, which is masculine as well. And we have a couple of irregulars which look feminine, but they're actually masculine. So classic, bayit ends with a taf, but it's masculine. Or tzomet, intersection, also ends with a taf, but it's masculine. So we now understand how to recognize nouns in the singular form. I repeat, in the singular form. If they end with a taf or a kamatz hey, they are usually feminine, and all others are masculine. Obviously, if they belong to one of the exceptional groups, or just odd ones out that you just need to remember. Let's go back to our rules. We know that in Hebrew, gender is important. In masculine, we tend to not have endings. In feminine, we tend to have an ending a or taf. For plural masculine, the ending is usually im, and for plural feminine, the rule is usually ot for the pluralization. This is true for the verbs, always, and for the adjectives, always. Let's look at some examples. So, verbs. Lomed, lomedet, lomdim, lomdot. We've got the standard endings, taf for the feminine, im for the plural, ot for the feminine plural. The same with gar, gara, garim, garot. Gar living, gara feminine, the hey, garim and garot. Okay, the same for the adjectives. Let's look at some examples. Me'anyen, interesting. Me'anyenim, interesting plural masculine. Me'anyenet, feminine. Me'anyenot, feminine plural. Or an easier adjective, tov, good. Tov, tovim. Tova, tovot. So with verbs and with adjectives, the rule always follows. Hey or taf for the feminine, im for the plural masculine, ot for the plural feminine. However, what happens when it comes to nouns? Whether they follow the rule in the singular or don't follow the rule in the singular, never rely that the pluralization of nouns is always going to follow the rule. It doesn't always. Let's look at some examples. So here's our lamp. So we have a menorah, and in plural, menorot, here it follows the rule, no problem. Feminine ends with ot. We have our sheka, and the plural shkaim, masculine, no problem. We have our chut masculine, plural chutim, again, follows the rules. We have our atzitz, and in plural, atzitzim, follows the rules. We have our ale, and the plural would be alim. Again, notice that the hey is dropped. More information about that in some of my other videos. But we come to the word or. Or is masculine, but for some reason, the pluralization is orot, which means this is a superstar word. It's a word that for no apparent reason, the masculine plural is orot and not with im. We have our simla, and in this case, we have shalosh smalot. The idea of numbers in Hebrew, there's numbers feminine, numbers masculine. That's again another video which will be posted in the future. But look at the pluralization, simla, smalot. We have one chulza, but we also have shmone chulzot. If you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chulzot. Again, follows the rules of pluralization. We also have a megera, a drawer, feminine, and shtei megerot. Again, why shtei and not shtayim on my video on numbers. We also have one madaf, and if you count all together, we have shisha madafim in our cupboard. Shisha madafim, madaf, madafim, plural. We have, well, we don't have a delet. We have efes dlatot, 0 doors, efes dlatot. But delet dlatot, feminization, as you would expect it. Now we get to the mot. The mot is a bar, the rail. And in this aron, we have shnei motot. We have 2 rails, but notice again, mot is masculine. There's a blue background, but the plural is motot. Here is another superstar word. Okay, and the actual word for cupboard, aron, but harbe aronot. Aron again is masculine, but the pluralization is aronot, another superstar word. And again, how do I know which words are superstar? Unfortunately, there is no particular grouping for them. It's just a matter of learning all the irregulars off by heart. But the more you practice them, the more you'll know. Right, so I have my nouns. What if I want to add verbs and adjectives to these nouns, verbs or adjectives? We said that verbs and adjectives always follow the rules. So what happens with nouns that don't follow the rules? What happens to their verbs or adjectives? So again, let's look at some examples. Here we've got our menorah. I want to describe our menorah. It's a menorah chadasha. Well, no problem. Feminine adjective to fit the feminine noun. Menorot chadashot, same, not a problem. We have sheka karov, a close socket. Shkaim krovim, close sockets, not a problem. We have an ale yarok, and we have alim yerukim, green leaf, green leaves, again, not a problem. Atzitz yafe, atzitzim yafim, not a problem. Chut katzar, chutim kzarim. Now we come to the or. Or is a superstar word. Or, we said, or orot. So if I want to add an adjective, or chazak, strong light. But how do I say strong lights? Orot chazakim. The adjective always follows the rule. And since the noun is male, regardless of the ot ending, the noun is male, and therefore the pluralization of the adjective will be the male pluralization. Orot chazakim. Okay? That's a superstar word, and therefore it follows the rule for the adjectives and it follows its own rule for the noun. Let's look at our cupboard. Again, we're going to be adding adjectives or verbs. So we have here simla keitzit, a summery dress. Plural, smalot keitziyot, not a problem. Chulza levana, a white shirt. Chulzot levanot, white shirts, again, not a problem. Megira niftachat, a drawer that opens. Megirot niftachot, drawers that open. We have delet chasera, a missing door. Dlatot chaserot, again following the rule. Madaf namuch, a low shelf. Madafim nemuchim, low shelves. But now we come to our superstar words. Aron gadol, a big cupboard. Aronot, gdolim. Again, aronot becomes ot because that's the way this noun happens to pluralize, but it's still masculine. And therefore the adjective that goes with it is, by the rules, plural masculine im. And the same for the mot. The mot is again an irregular. Mot katzar, a short rail. Motot ktsarim, short rails. Motot is the way we pluralize the word mot. But ktsarim, which is the adjective, has to follow the original rule. And therefore it stays with the im at the end because mot is masculine. I hope this was helpful. If you want a list of the most popular irregular nouns, scan this barcode. It will send you to a Quizlet flashcard application where you can practice. I believe there's about 43 different words that are irregular pluralizations for nouns in Hebrew. And scan my barcode to sign up for my Ulpan or follow my content on Facebook. There are many, many other lessons. There's a course that I give in 4 different levels, or you can buy my premium package of private one-to-one, very flexible timing lessons. Contact me on this number and have a good day.